Thursday night, 10:25 p.m. in the East, streaming live on Pride48.com. It's time for The Mix. My name is Daniel Brewer. I do not do this show alone. I do it with my best friend, Adam Burns. Adam, how are you this evening?
Let me get off the one shot.
You know, that I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking. Last week on the video, because this whole video version of our show is new, right? We've been doing podcasts together for over a decade, but streaming video and doing video, that's kind of a new, we're dipping our toe in that vast pool, as it were. The problem is that last week, the entire news quiz is just a one shot of my ugly ass face.
I don't think it's well, I didn't look. You may be right.
We can hear you off in the ether somewhere enjoying it. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, you know what? You and I are the same in that we're basically insecure people. Like we basically are like,
that's why I left a one shot on you.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but I have no way to do it. I have no way to take myself off video. So what I'm saying is, no. As my best friend, we're there together. The only time there should be a one shot should be on that intro when you don't want to be on the intro. And I understand that, because that's why I throw the logo over that first part of the intro, because I don't want people like seeing me like walking around like staring at the ceiling. But the point is that there should never be another one shot.
Never a one shot. You know, whatever.
Other than that one time, but it's like, other than that, Adam, we're partners. We should be on the screen.
I should remove the one shot from completely.
Yes. We should be on the screen together, Adam. Partners, sharing in the humiliation, 50-50. How you sharing in the folk, and the people looking at you going like, oh my God, that's what they look like? Jesus. I've been listening to them for a decade.
Since we're talking about video, you didn't compliment my my 3D modeling logo that I put in the chat room.
I mean, you didn't compliment my 3D mix minus logo that moves at the beginning of the video. I mean, okay. I haven't seen yours move yet. You showed me a static.
Yeah. Well, you can tell it's 3D. It took me 2 weeks.
I'm on vacation in California and I get a text from Adam. What font did you use for the new logo?
By the way, you were wrong. That was not the name of the font. You know what I ended up having to do? I know this may not be interesting to anyone, but you know what? We're going with it.
I'm invested now.
We're going with it. You know, all this talk about artificial intelligence and everything, that's been going on, all the miraculous. Right. I had to take the logo, the static logo, put it in this font website that says it uses AI to determine what, and then you highlight the font, you highlight the word, and then it tells you, we think this is your font.
All right, what font was it?
It's called Blippo. Blippo. Yeah.
If you ever wanted to spoof our logo, just use Blippo.
Not only that, but I had to pay $35 for it.
No.
Yeah, I did, because I couldn't find it anywhere else.
I would have, you know what? It's an Adobe font, more than likely, because you and I both have the Adobe suite, which gives you all those fonts. It's like, I guarantee you, if I look inside, because I didn't pay for a font.
Well, you could be right. I'm not calling you wrong, but I will tell you that I went to Adobe Fonts.
Yep.
And I did the same thing, because Adobe Font has the same feature where you can put in a thing. Yeah. They had nothing that was similar at all.
I was on vacation. There was no way I could have looked it up.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just $35. It's just $35. It's not a big deal.
It's just $35. Adam, thousands upon thousands of our listeners send us emails every day that we really can't read without crying. Like, they're just so sweet and they're so touching. And they're talking about, of course, the inspiration that they've gotten from hearing about my running experience, which is what they tune in for, Adam, is to hear about my running update, so that I can let people know exactly what I'm doing to drag my little fat ass across that's my big fat ass, 10K across the finish line at Walt Disney World in April. So, Adam, I was on vacation last week. I was out in California. So I had to run had to work my run days into our vacation. So I ran on a treadmill in the gym at the hotel for the 2 run days that I had out there. And I am so amazed at how much longer I can run on a treadmill than I can in the wild. It's freaky. Like I'm struggling to get back to doing 1.5 minutes of running and 1.5 minutes of walking in the real world. On the treadmill, at one point, I just kept going. And I ended up running for 4.5 minutes before I walked. It's just like, and it's like, that seems wrong. It seems like the treadmills are just offering no resistance or whatever.
They do. Millions of people use, well, I don't know if it's millions because that number just came out of my butthole.
Millions,
but
Adam.
A lot of people use treadmills and are in really good shape. And there has to be some benefit to using treadmills. However, what I will say is, I think there are 2 things that I think. One of them, you may say, oh, no, Adam, I'm perfect when I'm running on the sidewalk or whatever. It's not a thing. Mm-hmm. But treadmills keep your pace consistent.
Okay.
You cannot go faster. And now, me personally, when I try to run, not that I run because knees and everything, but when I've tried to run in the past, I get impatient and I speed up. And I get tired faster when I'm just on the sidewalk or on a track or whatever. But when I'm on a treadmill, I set it at a speed and it keeps me going that speed.
Yeah. And I think that could be some of it. Although my run since I've gotten back from vacation, I've had that in mind. I'm like, okay, I'm going to run slower. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to run slower. But yeah, I think maybe that's part of it. Maybe part of it is just, it is moving, right? The treadmill
that was
is
my
moving,
second one,
which does, take some.
Yeah, my second one is there are motors, so I assume it is a little easier.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was just amazing to me that I'm in the hotel on Friday running, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm kicking ass. Look at that! I just ran 4.5 minutes. Look at me! I ran 4.5, and then I get back here to Florida, and I go out, and I barely make it through my first 90-second, right? It's just like, okay, yeah, the treadmill thing. Because I think the same thing on the cruise ship. I was running much better on the treadmill on the cruise ship than. So if I could just have all my races
on treadmills,
that would really help me in my running update. Anyway, running update. I am now within the 2-week notice of this race actually happening. Tomorrow morning, at about 10:30, I'm going over to my sister's house and we're going to run together because she's running the 10K with me. So we're going to run together for the first time tomorrow. We're actually going to run a 10K over at her house through some trails and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow. That'll be fun. And the other running update is I did successfully sign up for the Walt Disney World Wine and Dine half marathon weekend in November, and both Zach and I will be running the 10K in November. So
not me.
There you go.
So in the chat room,
yes,
there was a question about the hat that I'm wearing, and not that again anyone cares.
The munching hat.
But I just want to answer it because I don't want to try to type a long answer in the chat room while I'm doing a show. So I'm just going to answer on audio.
Okay.
My boyfriend, my partner in life, got me a hat. Yeah. When he was on his trip recently, and it's from Germany, and it says München. Mm-hmm. It says, I don't think it says Munich. It's a hat for Munich. So it's.
They're saying there's no sound on the YouTube channel.
Oh, is that what they're saying? Well, I didn't check it.
That's what they're saying, Adam. They're saying there's no sound on the YouTube channel.
On YouTube? What?
I don't know. I'm not the one that's, I don't control that. It's like, that's you. Oh, here, I'm going to click into the Mix Minus stream on my phone. Phone audio is going here through the Bluetooth. It does not appear to have any sound on it.
It should now. So those of you who are watching on the YouTube, let us know if there is sound now.
It does not appear to There we go. All right, great.
It should now. So those of you who are watching on the YouTube, let us know if there is sound.
Shut up, Adam. Stop. There we go.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking.
There you go. Fascinating. Inception. Video Inception.
I don't know why I had to reset that. Like I shouldn't have had to reset it. Yeah.
We're learning. It's all right. You know what? I take the live feed. See, here's a little inside baseball. When you watch the live feed on our YouTube channel on the night that we do it on Friday night, immediately after the show, I make that video private so that no one else can see it. And then I download it and then sync up our audio with it, put the extra pieces on it that I need to, and then re-upload it as a new video on our channel. So the point is only the live folk are going to get, annoyed by that lack of sound.
True.
So we apologize for the live folk.
Yeah, apologies because also the gain is weird. If I have to set this every week before if the audio just resets itself randomly, that's going to be a pain in the butt.
And you're just going to get, there's a lot of you giving up tonight. It's like, well, then I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. If I have to adjust the gain every time.
I never said I was going to give up. I just said, I hope that is not a thing.
I'm not going to.
No, what I said, well, no, we don't have to bring that into the show. Right. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. You know what?
I'm done with my running update. Go ahead, Adam. What is your next?
I don't know. What is it? I'm not looking at the Trello. It
has something to do with about your house. Unwelcomed guests.
Okay. So, I didn't talk about, I purposely did not talk about this on Geeky Gay.
Your award-winning daily podcast.
I have two perfectly good stories, and I just want you to remember that I saved them for Mix Minus.
And I appreciate it, Adam. I appreciate it.
I put them in the Trello like a week and a half ago. Anyway, regardless, the other day, I went into the closet. And I have a walk-in closet behind me over there upstairs that I keep all of the Pride 48 equipment, like all the printers in there, like all this kind of stuff. It's a large walk-in closet. But it's also where all of the cables come in for the Ethernet, the coaxial for cable and like all that kind of stuff. There's a box on the wall and it goes into the attic and then disperses to the various rooms in the house, right?
Sent off into various different directions across your domain.
Yeah. And so I went in there and the router's there and the switch and all that kind of stuff.
It sounds like a children's song. And the router and the switch were sitting in the stitch.
And I saw these little black pellet things.
Oh.
These little pellet things.
Turds?
Turds on the router, on the switch, and
my God.
little urine marks on the shelf there.
Hold on. What brand is your router?
Oh, it came from it's a fiber thing from the company, so I don't know.
There you go. It's probably just the router sitting
but the hub is probably like, I don't know, Belkin or Unisys or like whatever.
It's long, but I was going to make a joke about it. It was the router's fault, but it went nowhere. So move along. Pretend as though we never set that stupid joke up.
So anyway, I freaked out. Look, I do not like mice. When I lived some of you are going to know, when I lived in Texas, we had a brand new house.
Yes.
And the first winter, probably, I don't know that it was, but I think it was. We had mice we would be watching Star Trek or Golden Girls or something, sitting on our couch in the living room, and mice would literally run out from under the couch and like run under the television.
Yeah. Because they wanted to watch.
And one time I opened the pantry and there was a mouse eating our bread, looking at me. Like, hey, motherfucker, shut the door. I'm eating, whatever.
So did you name him Joe Batance and keep him?
So Maddie and I bought these glue traps. They're so horrible, these glue traps. Anyway, and Mark and I, when Mark and I lived in our first house together, I don't know if you guys remember this story, but we were going to Puerto Rico and he got up to take his shower really early in the morning.
Yes.
And I hear, ah! And I go in there and there is a mouse in the bathtub. Anyway,
take a bath, man.
Needless to say, I don't know why in my adult life I have been so I can't think of the word, but I've been so inundated with mice. I don't remember ever having mice in our houses when I was growing up.
Now you attract them.
I think I'm a clean person. We even have a cleaner that comes and cleans the house for us and all that kind. Anyway,
I mean, you do pee in the shower, and you know.
I don't know that mice are attracted to pee in the shower. But so anyway, no. So Auntie Scott, this does not lead to killing mice. So I found poop. Well, I freaked out because I don't want to have mice. I don't want to have a mouse running out from under my couch. I don't want to find one in the bathtub. They freak me out.
On a boat, you do not want it with a goat.
No.
You do not want it here or there. You do not want it anywhere. I do not want a mouse in my house.
Correct.
Okay. Yes.
So I basically I called our pest control and I said, "Hey, can you do anything?" And I'm sorry, we have not killed any mice, Auntie Scott, but I'm sorry. I'm not a person who is going to take them out into a field somewhere. Like, I'm sorry.
What if they're field mice?
But we have not killed any mice. However,
yes,
I made what I think is kind of a rash decision. So our pest control company does not do the, what do they call it? They called it exclusion, which is basically they check your house and look for any holes,
right,
and any place that mice can get in.
Yeah. And
they cover them up. They just take care of it. And then if you
block the access.
Yeah. So that they can't get in. So our pest control company doesn't do that. They'll just come out and put bait boxes out or whatever.
Right.
So I found an ad for Terminex, or I Googled and I'm like, oh, Terminex is a respectable company. Mm-hmm. So I called them and went through all the thing, and the guy came over and and we think the mouse came in. We don't know. Obviously, you don't know how many mice it is, but we think there's a hose that goes from the Ethernet box, from that box that all the wires comes in, to the outside of the house.
Yes.
Because they ran the cables up this hose, right?
Yep.
And so he's like, I think probably they came in that hose, but
you just plug the hose up.
Yeah, but there were also holes in the box, in the metal box, that went directly into the attic. And he said there's also a couple of places on your roof line where I think they can be getting in, where the water spouts and stuff are connected, or like whatever. So he's like, we can come out. Well, this is what I think was the rash decision. I so did not want to have a mouse problem.
Okay.
I'm like, do whatever. Just
seal it up.
Come over, do it. And I thought, and they quoted me a price. I'll tell you guys how much it was, but please don't judge me.
It's like, just hermetically seal my house. I don't care.
I'm like, you know what? Just do it. Whatever you need to do. And I figured, it's going to be a lot of work. The price they quoted me, I'm sure.
Can I guess?
Fair.
Can I guess?
You can guess if you'd like. But if you go over, it's going to ruin the bit, isn't it?
Yeah, go ahead. So let me.
So I thought $2,000 was perfectly reasonable for them to come over and do that, right? I'm like, yes. Yeah, that's no big. I'm like, they're going to be here for hours. They're going to be on ladders. They're probably going to have a whole crew, right? So this one Terminex guy comes out on a Saturday morning. It takes him about maybe an hour.
Hi, I'm Bobby from Flex Seal. Yeah.
And I'm
going to spray this mouse hole with the lure. Look, and they tell the mouse can't get in.
They tell you all this stuff about, we use this special stuff that, really repels them. And all this kind of stuff.
Foam,
and
right? They just,
you don't want, and I mean, he did. Now I will say this, I will not get on my roof. And there were clearly a couple of spots that they showed me where I could tell that animals would be able to get in. There is no way that I'm going to get up on the roof. It is not happening.
Right.
So that would have almost been worth it. But like an hour, $2,000 for an hour, when we had all of our switches changed out, right? It was like $1,500, but it was 30 some odd switches. They were here all day doing this. And it was less than $2,000. It was around $1,500.
So then why did you think that 2,000 sounded reasonable then?
Well, I didn't know how long it was going to take. I was like, oh, they're getting up on the roof. They're doing all this stuff.
You can always ask these questions.
He's like, it's going to cover another year as well. So if I need anything. So anyway.
Oh, at this point, yeah. You paid him $2,000. This
is the only place that we're getting close to killing mice, but where I'm getting close to mentioning killing mice. Yes. My other pest control company, because I already have a contract with them, but they don't do the exclusionary stuff. They don't do it.
They don't plug the holes.
They came out and put bait boxes.
Yeah.
There have been 0 mice killed.
0 mice.
0. I mean, that's good. That's good. More mice are living in the world. I haven't killed any mice. But now I'm like, what if they just came in, dropped a deuce on my router, and then turned around and left?
Yeah.
And I've spent, $2,000.
$2,000 to have somebody spray some foam
come over here for an hour, but I was so freaked out, and I said, Mark, I'm sorry if you disagree with what I did. He's like,
yeah, what we got here, Mr. Burns, I'm afraid what we got here is a classic mouse invasion. Now, it may look like it's just a couple of them turds there, but let me tell you, they like to poop in public. They like to poop together, and so those little turds are actually representative of at least 52 different mice that are running through your house right now. Now, we offer this one little service where we will hermetically seal your house. We will pump in oxygen from the outside through special osmotic filters and keep your house perfectly pressurized. Now, you can't leave your house ever, but there will be no more mice that come in here, and that's going to run you about, $1,500.
I said, I'm sorry that I spent so much of our money, and he basically said, yeah, I'm used to it.
Now, I don't want to hear you complaining about the Disney tickets that I had you buy anymore.
No. I didn't complain. I just said they were more expensive than I thought they were going to be. That's all.
All right. Well, I, as you know, took a birthday trip out to California. Zach and I have on our bucket list the desire to visit every Disney park on the planet. And so we're starting with California because we obviously live here in Florida. So we're very close to Walt Disney World. So we're starting California. Next year, we're going to either go to Disneyland Paris or to Hong Kong. It depends on the construction update in Paris next year. And then we also have Shanghai Disneyland Shanghai and Tokyo Disneyland, as well as Tokyo Disney Sea. So there's, a bunch more that we have to get to. This is just step 1 in this thing. And if you want to hear all the fascinating things about Disneyland and all the Disney perspective on that, I urge you to go and listen to my other podcast, Don't Do Disney Without Us, that I do with my partner, Zach, because we talk exhaustively about our trip to Disneyland and California Adventure, which really just represent 2 of the 5 days that we were there. So, a minority piece of them there. We also, I have to open this up because there's points in here. So we went to, we flew into LA. We went to the Anaheim area. And the first day that we arrived there, we didn't do any parks. We were just there at the hotel. And that was the day that we decided to do my birthday dinner because I have not been impressed with Disney's finer dining restaurants out in California the last time that we were here. I was kind of disappointed in them. So I wanted to have a good birthday meal. It's probably
because you introduced Zach as your friend and they were unimpressed with you. And so they're like, let's not, put any work into this meal.
Yes. There's a callback to a show that was like a million years ago. No one has any idea, which is like, there's one person out there that's been listening to us for a decade and is just like, that was a sick burn. It was a sick burn that Adam just got. All right. Oh, the chat room is telling me that
they do. It was only maybe a couple of months ago. What are you talking about? You act like it was years ago.
Anyway. I decided to go to Morton's, which there's a Morton's right near our hotel. So we went to Morton's for my birthday dinner. And Adam, they printed up a birthday menu for me.
Oh,
it was like
nice.
when we got seated, there was like some confetti, glitter confetti on the table. And then the birthday said, "Happy birthday, Daniel Brewer." And it was like they printed new menu. You know, I mean,
that is a sign of a Michelin star restaurant.
No,
when you get the confetti on the table, and did they write with crayons on there too?
No, I'm saying it was the laser. All restaurants have laser printed menus. That's how they change them out every day and still keep them looking nice. They went and laser printed fresh menus that had my name on them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that was super nice of Morton's to do that.
When Mark and I were in Hawaii a few years ago, we went to this restaurant for anniversary, and they had asked, do you have a special occasion? And when we left, they gave us an anniversary card.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was nice. So yeah, those touches are nice.
Anyway, so we ate at Morton. It was a delicious meal, and I had no more hopes of getting any better food while we were in California, unless, of course, when I went to Auntie Scott's, because that would be home cooked for this, a different category altogether. But I was so wrong, because on the last day that we were at Disney, we stumbled into the Napa Rose restaurant. Like, we found out that it's impossible to get a reservation there, but they do a 50-50 between walk-ups and reservations. So we went there right when they opened at 5:30, and we got seated right away. And the best food I've ever had at a Disney park on either coast was Napa Rose. It was delicious. Every single freaking thing on the menu was delicious.
It's not okay. I was thinking the Stinking Rose. That's a completely different. There's a restaurant somewhere called the Stinking Rose where everything is garlic. Garlic everything. Okay.
This is not there. This is the Napa Rose. They have a lot of wine there. It's Napa wine country. It's like, but every single thing I ate there. And when you're here in Florida, we have picked out 3 of the best restaurants here at Walt Disney World. And yeah, this one was on par with the best one that we picked out here, if not better. So I would say kudos to Napa Rose. Anyway, so we left the Disney bubble on Friday. And that evening, Friday evening, we were going to be having dinner with Auntie Scott and Uncle Drew. So it was a big debate in our household of whether we were going to go to Universal Studios or not, because the only thing that either of us wanted to do there was Zach wanted to see the Super Nintendo World because it just opened out there.
Actually, I didn't know that existed even, but if they have any Super Mario Brothers 2 stuff there, I would really like the squirrel suit or the, all that kind of stuff, like, or the little, anything, the little blocks with the question marks. I'm sure they've got those all over the place.
Yeah, they have those all over the place.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But, and Super Nintendo World was cool. But anyway, so we decided to go to Universal Studios Hollywood during the day. So we drove up to Universal Studios Hollywood. And it's at that point that and you called this, you knew that I was going to hate the Universal Park.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't realize how well Disney does things until you go to another park where they don't do those things, right? It's like, you don't realize how well Disney has streamlined the entrance into a park, like going through security and going through the tickets. It's like how streamlined it is in Florida, like how efficient they are. Even those of us, who are spoiled by this, often it was 2 minutes to get through the line. Oh my God. This was, they're slacking today. Like we'll complain for a line to get into the park that's longer than about 3 or 4 minutes here in Florida. Out in California, the security line was like a 20-minute ordeal to get to the point where you did security. And they had those metal detectors turned up so fucking high. I had to take my belt. I go through the airport with that belt. I go through the metal detectors here in Florida at Disney all the time. It's like, the fucking belt set off their metal detector. And then, of course, you have to go back and then you have to get wanded. And you're just like, it was just a whole, and that was just to get to, and then you get to a separate entrance line because they don't have any way for you just to tap in easily into the park. They're like all sitting there scanning and people are confusing and people don't know what they're doing and it's causing lines. And it's like, so I'm like, Disney does this so much better. So we'd already started the day off with a bad feeling about Universal.
Before you go on, I just want to, anyone who hasn't been listening for a long time.
Yes.
I just want to set the stage here. Daniel and I were at Universal
Studios in Florida.
We were in Florida. Yeah, this was in Florida. We were at Universal, and I don't know if you've ever seen at a theme park or anywhere, anywhere in public, these 5-year-old children who are not getting what they want. They're not getting their way, and they might stomp their feet. They could possibly, I don't know, lay down on the ground and start pounding things and crying and screaming. And they have nothing on Daniel Brewer when he's in a line and you ask him to put his phone in a locker. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, hell no. Like, Disney would never do this. I'm leaving. This is what we dealt with. So I thought you would not. I was scarred for life. I may never go back to a Universal because I will have PTSD, Anyway.
From me breaking down. Anyway,
so you got into the park.
Got into the park. All I'm going to say about this, Super Nintendo World, so it was obviously just open and it's obviously very popular. So they, in order to control crowds, they have set up a virtual queuing system. So at the beginning of the day on the Universal app, you have to make a reservation to be able to go into Super Nintendo World, right? So we knew that. And so when we were parking the car, I was on the phone. I got our reservation time, our virtual queue reservation time. So we could go in at 12:10. And we arrived at the park at about 9:30. So we went around. We did this ride, the Secret World of Pets. It was really cute. We rode that ride. It was really cute. And then we left there. Pardon me, I have to belch.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. So we went there, and then we kind of aimed around a little bit, and then it became our time to go and experience Super Nintendo World. So we get down there, and just the line to get into the world. The line to get into the world was all the way back to the bottom of the escalators, which you have to go down a series of escalators to get to the lower deck. And it was packed down there, just absolutely packed. And so you had to keep figuring out I already have my reservation. So, because they're basically telling you have to make a reservation. You turn around, you must, and we're like, wait, where's the line where you have a reservation? And oh yeah, go over there to that line. So you go over there to that line, and then you go into the world, through the little warp tunnels and everything like that. Adam, it is wall to wall fucking people. It's even though they're controlling when people come in, there's no way to get them out. They're not saying you can come in here and you can only stay here for 2 hours and then you have to move on. It's so it's just every single person from the beginning of the day it was so crowded. And I'm a veteran of Walt Disney World. And I have seen some crowds in my time. This was the most crowded I've ever seen. I was sitting there going, if one person punches someone here, it's all over. Everyone is so crammed in here that will set off a chain of events that there's absolutely nothing anyone could do at that point. It would all be over. It's what if there's a fire here? How did they get? I can't move. How did they get these people out of there? Anyway. So that was our experience of Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios. So we left there, and we did other things during the day. We took the tram tour and all that stuff. But then we headed up to Scott and Drew's, and we thought we were allowing plenty of time to get to our hotel, but LA traffic is a beast unto itself on a Friday afternoon.
I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got delayed a little bit, but we were still within the ballpark of showing up at Scott and Drew's on time. Right. And I was texting them ahead of time, okay, we're heading and we're just now leaving the hotel. We're on our way to you. And, blah, blah, blah. We get there, we come in and huggy here, put your thing down. And then Adam, it's Auntie Scott wanted nothing to do with me. He was basically I was standing next to him in the kitchen trying to peel the plastic off of the little water flavoring that I had brought with me.
Yeah.
And so he's just going, the booze is in the other room. You can go to the other room. in the other. You can go in the other room. The booze is in the other room. And I'm like, no, I'm just taking the plastic tab off of this here, and I'm trying to talk to him.
The what's in the other room? The booze.
The booze is in the other room. Go to the other room. The booze is in the other room. It's like he wanted me out of that kitchen. So fucking bad, Adam.
Well, too many cooks and all, right? I mean,
I wasn't going to. Yeah, I'm not the good cook. You're the good cook. I
know, but I'm saying like people who are cooking, you get in a zone and you don't want a lot of people around you in your way. You got to quickly go to the fridge and over to this, oven and stove and stir things, and it's.
This is an aside, but let me tell you, because we use the Green Chef meal delivery service, so we cook our own food, 4 nights a week they send us the ingredients and they give us the instructions, blah, blah. They often will say things like slice the onion lengthwise, and I don't know what lengthwise is on an onion because it's round. So it's like, how would you cut the number of times that I've wanted to either call
cutting an onion
Scott
lengthwise
or you? It's like, what the fuck do I do with it? They say
it's the 2 tips.
The onion lengthwise.
The 2 tips.
There are no tips. It's a round or an oval. It's an oval. There's no tip.
There's a tip with roots coming out, and then there's another end where where the roots come out. The end where the roots come out. So the
top and the bottom.
Those are the top and the bottom. So lengthwise is from top to bottom. From top to bottom or bottom to top. It's cutting it that way. Watch me be corrected by someone in the chat room. But that's what I would say.
The chat room is saying, like, you fucking idiot. Of course. It's like everyone knows lengthwise. Anyway, so this wasn't the point. The point is that Auntie Scott wanted me. He didn't want anything I went and sat in the other room. I'm waiting to talk to Auntie Scott. He pops in for a second, then he leaves. And he pops in for a second, then he leaves. Adam. You would have thought I was Joe Batanz. It was I was being snubbed, Adam. Snubbed.
Well, I feel like I should take up for Auntie Scott because I'm sure that he just wanted your meal to be perfect, and he was just very focused on getting everything right. And
the meal was perfect. It was beef stroganoff, which is I think I've even talked about it on this show before, that like my mom used to make it and she would serve it on toast, and then someone was like, oh, that shit on a shingle. I'm like, no, Mom used to do it with, instead of egg noodles, she would do toast. We were kids. I don't know, but it got us to eat I love beef stroganoff. And his beef stroganoff was amazing, other than it needed 75 grains of salt. But that's a personal thing. Just
75 grains
of salt, yes. And
that's very specific.
Yes, I'm very specific. I'm watching my sodium, Adam, so I'm very specific with my salt.
I find that people do have varied. I find the hardest thing to do in my personal life is to salt things well. It's mainly for my boyfriend. I'm going to be honest because he's the only one that I cook for right now. But I will tell you this. I will either go over salt and Mark will be like, oh, this is a little too salty, or it'll be under salted, it'll be bland. I struggle so much with getting just the right amount of salt in things. It's a struggle.
Now, Auntie Scott is saying in the chat room that I salted it and Zach ate 3 bites and it's far from a great success. I did not know that Zach only ate 3 bites.
I guarantee you Auntie Scott was counting, because I would be doing the same thing. That's why I haven't cooked for either one of you, because it's also why I don't play the trumpet on live streams or anything, because I don't want to be judged for what I'm doing. I don't want to feel like I'm a failure. No, thank you. I already had to, but
it was delicious. It was delicious. But you know what? He made artichokes that went with it. They were delicious.
But I love Zach to death.
Yes.
But Zach comes across as having a limited palate. When I have eaten with him in the past, I'm picky. I will admit that I'm picky.
Yes, you. I don't like seafood. Because
I don't like seafood. It's literally the only thing I don't eat is seafood.
It's a huge.
But I'm saying, like, Zach, I feel like is worse than me.
Adam, I just don't eat protein. It's just one thing I don't eat protein. It's just one thing. I'm not that picky. I just don't eat protein.
I'm now trying to add some seafood in. Like when we go to a chef's table, I'm eating the things that they bring to me.
I'm very proud of it. And you know what? Zach is also developing his palate.
But I'm just saying, Auntie Scott,
to try things outside of his comfort zone.
I don't think it's a reason for Auntie Scott to feel bad about the success of the meal, because I think there's nothing wrong with Zach's palate. I'm not saying that, but I think he is working to develop that and expand it. And so it doesn't mean there was anything wrong with the meal.
I feel that Auntie Scott may be being histrionic here. I don't think Zach just ate 3 bites of it. I think that Zach he passed out from all the carbs in it. So
he's also very into this keto thing, more than Daniel. I mean, he was on keto like an entire cruise. Daniel was just eating everything, and Zach was only eating like chicken breasts. So I mean,
you know what?
Serious.
You can choose to take my word for it or not, Auntie Scott. I thought it was delicious. I added salt, but I like things salty. But it was delicious before I added the salt, but the salt like put it like right over the edge.
And I just want to clear something up.
Yeah.
You guys called me. I feel like I sounded annoyed.
You did.
I cannot control how my voice sounds. I also cannot control how my face looks. It's just whatever comes out comes out. Yeah. I was not annoyed. But we were in the middle of watching a movie, and Mark was sitting there, and I felt like I couldn't, go like in a different room and talk to you guys for half an hour because we're in the middle of this movie. And so anyway, I loved it that you called. It was just an inconvenient time.
Yeah, I got the same thing from my brother when we called him too. Auntie Scott says that I just called his Brussels sprouts artichokes. Yeah, there were Brussels sprouts. I get those two confused by name, like not by sight, but like by name. Anyway, I'm so sorry. It's not a weird thing to confuse. They're weird vegetables. Like growing up, like you don't give a kid Brussels sprouts and artichokes, right? Those are adult foods. Those are things that you're like, oh, as an adult, we have this new selection of food. Like no one offered me fucking pate when I was like 4, right? It's like when you become older, they're like going, oh, look, there's some pate here, and there's some fondue.
Pate? What do you call pate?
Yes, Adam, that is exactly how I say it. And I'm going to stick with it. Pate. And the whole world opens up to you, like all these new flavors and new things. But my point is that Brussels sprouts and artichokes are something that they gave you later in life. They didn't hit you with those as a kid. You don't go to Gerber section and see like, oh look, it's the pureed artichoke.
No, I think a lot of that is because of bitterness, because children do not like bitter, and the older you get, the more you like bitter.
And the older you get, the more bitter you get.
That as well. Yeah, that as well.
All right, so let me finish up my my California trip here. So I had a wonderful time with Auntie Drew and Scott. Auntie Drew and Scott. No, Auntie Scott and Uncle Drew. Was that a Freudian slip? Was I, because Drew has that long, luxurious hair. And so was I.
He does. Do you think he's going for, who's that? The model that was on
Fabio?
all the. Yeah. Do you think he's going for kind of a Fabio? I bet when no one's around, Drew takes his shirt off and like puts his hair down and whips it around and oils down his chest.
What do you mean when no one's around? That's what he did the whole fucking dinner.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just nonstop. It's like, yeah, we get it, Drew. We get it. Yeah, you can sit down now. And I had a lovely evening, and here's the thing. Drew had texted me ahead of time and said, and confided in me that he was worried that Zach would be bored when he was there. And I assured them that he wouldn't be. And then we get there, and as soon as Zach gets finished eating, he fucking falls asleep. He falls asleep in the chair in their living room. And it was like, oh my God.
Well, that's the second thing I would say about Zach is he falls asleep a lot.
And it's like, I was like, oh my God, why did you do that? It's like they were worried that you were going to be bored and then you just fell asleep. And I
get you guys were here and I don't think it happened this time, but the first Christmas that you guys came here and we were playing a game and Zach was literally falling asleep holding his cards in his hand. So, I mean, I just, on cruises, he's had to go back to the room and take a nap and then come back. So, I mean, nobody should take offense at that. He just, he needed a little beauty rest.
So the next day, we, after we had our lovely evening with Drew and Scott, I had a lovely evening with Drew and Scott. Whether anyone else did, I don't know, but I did. I had a wonderful time. I had to belch again. So the next day, our flight was a red eye. So we didn't have our flight until 10:30 at night. So we had an entire day to noodle around. So we met some folks right there in Woodland Hills at a little place called And Waffles. We met some Diz Twitter folks there that we know, and had breakfast with them. And then we went into LA itself, because Zach's friend Jonathan was going to take us on a tour some places, and he drug us through downtown LA, walking around, and we walk into this hotel called the Biltmore, and he's like, "Do you recognize the roof?" And he's like, "That's the Tower of Terror at Disney. That's the roof that they have."
That sounds familiar, yeah.
So he was showing us all these places that some of the attractions at Disney were based off of right there in LA, and the stupidest thing about that, because it was so sweet of him to do that, and it was great, and I loved that. But the thing that I got the most thrill out of was seeing Pershing Square. And I remembered in Grand Theft Auto that Pershing Square is where a whole bunch of shit happens, and I was like, oh my God, that I've been on top of those walls shooting people. It's just I've died there at least 4 times. It's that's fucking Pershing. That's so I was taking pictures of Pershing Square, which was not on the Disney tour, but I was taking pictures of the what is it called, Grand Theft Auto stuff there. Anyway. So
you didn't meet Joe Batance and go to the Magic Castle?
No, here's the thing. You know what? Joe Batance even said to me at the time, because we were listening to your podcast as we were driving around in this 2-mile-an-hour LA traffic, that, we heard on your other show, Throwing Up with Joe Batance, that you were like, does Daniel still listen? Oh, I don't know if Daniel still, he's like, yes, I listen every 2 weeks.
I think he does, I believe.
Every fortnight that I listen. Anyway. So I told Joe, I texted him, I said, oh, of course I listen to your show.
Yeah.
Right. And then he was just like, oh, you, so I said, I'm actually in LA right now in traffic listening to your show. And then he was like, oh, you should, Jay Ellis and I are going to be at Disneyland tomorrow. You should come down. And I was like, well, I'm leaving. I'm leaving tonight. So
yeah, I know you probably listened to the show, but he was, I think that was at the weekend that he was going to be super busy with 15 million things.
Oh, no. Yeah. He was at Mercedes wedding and I knew that because I was listening to it on the show. But anyway, the point, I got to a thing Joe Batance and I used to be pretty good friends. And then we had our little falling out. And I think since then we've never actually I'm not comfortable texting Joe just on the fly. You know what I'm saying? I may send and I don't usually do it to you, but I do it to Zach all the time. I just send him a random TikTok or, just whatever, just a goofy little thing. It's something that I might have used to have done to Batance, right? A little stupid little joke or something. I would have just texted him or whatever, but I don't feel like our friendship has repaired enough for me to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's cause he even said when he was texting, he's like, oh, you should have told me that you were here. And I'm I felt like saying, what would I have said? Because I'm going to text you and go, hey, Joe, we're coming to, LA for 4 or 5 days in March. I'm going to get 1 or 2 texts back, right? I'm either going to get the, I'm busy and I've got stuff to do. Right. It's just I don't want to be in it. I'll never know if it was a blow off or not. Or I'll get the, oh yeah, let's, where are you going? And then we're going to end up, with Joe Batance. tag, and Zach's never met Joe, and it becomes a whole thing. So it's like, yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable enough in my relationship with Joe at this point to feel like I could just text him and go, oh yeah, I'm in LA. Right. Like come out and see us, or, whatever. Cause we were there when he wasn't busy. Like we were there, we got in Tuesday night. We went to Disney Wednesday and Thursday, Universal on Friday. And then on Saturday, back to my story. On Saturday, we were being taken on a tour in downtown LA of all these cool little things. And then, Adam, they're like, oh, and we have dinner reservations at 4. So we're going. Well, we had a brunch. Like we had a really late lunch. Okay. I mean, a really late breakfast, like an 11 a.m. breakfast. And so we didn't, like a 10:30, 11 a.m. breakfast. So we didn't want to, remember, we're trying to stay on East Coast time so 4 o'clock to us is 7 p.m. Anyway, the point is, Adam, it doesn't matter.
Another thing that I'm very similar to Auntie Scott with, because we always say that we're so similar on everything, is how late they eat. Because I like to eat later. They eat later than I do, but yeah. Anyway. So we go to this restaurant, the Tam O'Shanter, and it turns out that this restaurant was a favorite of Walt Disney and his Imagineers. And inside the restaurant, there is a special booth that Walt always sat at. It's called Table 31. And they had reserved, they had gotten that booth for us. So we got to sit in the Walt Disney booth where there's like carvings in the table and there's like a plaque on the table. And then there's a whole spiel when the waitress comes up that tells you all the things around the restaurant that, are related to Walt in that table. Anyway, so yeah, we ate it. That was so super, super nice of them. And so that was how we kind of closed out our weekend in LA. But this is the one takeaway that we had from this. Oh, wow. We're going long, aren't we? The one takeaway that we had, I feel like maybe I should take this. No, you don't need to. Keep going.
Anyway, the people on Grindr in California are fucking aggressive. Like really, really like super aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, there would be people like, hey, can I come over? And it was like, well, we're partners. And it's like, you would have to talk to him. And it's like, it's like, no, right now. And it's saying it's like, they wouldn't take no for an answer. Right. It was just like, well, what about like now in the hallway? Like,
come out to my car.
Why don't you go down to the conference center? There's a bathroom down there. It's just like, whatever. Or they would hit you up during the day while you're in the parks. And they're just like, yeah, come to my hotel. It's like, I spent like $1,000 to be here. Like, it's just like, it's like, I can have sex anytime. It's like, I spent $1,000 to be here.
It must be nice to be you and be so in demand and have people literally throwing themselves at you and saying, no, come over now, daddy.
I'm just telling you my Grindr experience, Adam. I cannot control what people find attractive or not.
I understand.
That is not for me to say. I don't find myself attractive. Like, I would not hit on me, but I am grateful for all of the twinks and twunks that do. The
many blessings that you have. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so aggressive. So aggressive. It's like, just California guys, just take a breath. Just a cleansing breath. It's okay. It's like, you'll make it. You'll make it through. That was all I had to say about that. Was my entire California trip, Adam.
Nice. Well, I'll be quick. I'll be quick on this one.
Now I feel like I'm speeding you up. Should we just drop
No. We shouldn't drop. Our listeners, especially Scott the Satyr, love when we have long shows. I think we should go extra long.
Emails by the dozens from Scott the Satyr.
Although I don't know if he even listens anymore. He probably doesn't.
He probably doesn't. Yeah.
So unsubscribed.
Oh, but Dennis and Mike, shit.
Dennis and Chris, they did message us in level 13 chat, and apparently they still listen. We don't know why they don't contact us anymore. Maybe they lost their phone. Anyway, so
hi, Dennis and Chris. I'm sorry I forgot your name, Chris.
We went out to eat a couple of weeks ago.
I've had some drinks, Chris.
And we went to Fayetteville, which is about 20 minutes away, and we went to this Italian place. It was not good, but I got one drink, just one drink.
One.
And Mark got one drink.
That's two.
And, but they must have been really strong drinks because I was kind of feeling it, but I had to drive home. I mean, it was one drink, and one drink does not get me drunk.
What was it?
It was, I don't even remember. It was a
Scotch,
Cosmo,
neat.
a Cosmo or something, like it was pomegranate, whatever.
Okay, vodka cranberry. That's a Cosmo.
Something. Anyway, so anyway, we had one drink apiece, and I'm driving back home.
Yeah.
And we stopped and got cookies as well. This is irrelevant, but we stopped at a place that sells cookies. We got cookies.
Yes.
And then we were on our way home, and I know, Daniel, for a fact. That these Tontitown police are ravenous. They are ravenous. I mean, you cannot, all of our budget must come from tickets. I swear to God, because you cannot drive. Tontitown is not even that big.
How do you think they pay for that joint fire department, police department building?
Oh, they're building a new fancy, like big fire department right now.
There you go. Because of your tickets. Thanks to your tickets.
Anyway, and so I'm driving, and I look, and so I always, as soon as we hit the Tontitown limits
border
or whatever, border.
Yes. Yeah.
And I slow down below the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, and that night, I mean, I had one drink, but that night hit Tontitown, city limits. I slowed down, just jammed on. And also, I am not a speeder. I will have everyone know I was a claims adjuster. If you've been listening to me for a long time, you know that I was an auto insurance claims adjuster. I drive like a grandmother.
Yes.
Okay. So,
I've ridden in his car. He does.
And so basically, don't really speed. I follow all the laws. I don't always wear my seatbelt, but other than that, I'm like a grandma.
Were you guys like scared riding in the back seat with me when we were in Miami? Like,
I don't recall being scared.
Okay, because I don't drive like a granny. Like I don't drive like a madman, but I mean I don't drive like a granny. So.
Mark is a speeder. Mark will go 10 miles an hour over whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, I'll go like 4 miles an hour over at most. So I was not.
Five. No, not 4.5, not 5. No, it is 4. Exactly 4. We'll go no further than 4 miles over the speed limit.
I was not speeding. I am certain.
You're positive.
I was not speeding, Daniel, and we are so close to home. I could almost smell the mice.
Okay. And
lights flash behind us. And I'm like, there is no way that's me, but he's pulling up right behind me.
Yep.
So I pull over and I was like, okay, don't get, first of all, I've had a drink. Damn it. I'm like, damn it. I hope I don't smell like Cosmopolitan. And then,
one drink,
I pull over into this parking lot and he comes up and I'm trying not to have that white privilege smug, what the hell? Why are you pulling me over? Like, because, us white people can be that way. It's just sorry. Yes. Sorry. But I was like, no. I'm going to be respectful. I'm just going to hand him the information that he asked for and whatever. But then when he so then he says, I don't know what he says, but he says something and he's like,
you don't know what he says?
He says, you're going 56 in a 45 is what he said to me.
Yeah.
And I said to him,
that is impossible, officer.
I said, sir, look, I said, I'm so confused right now because I literally, as soon as I saw the Tontitown city limits, I made sure I was going under the speed limit.
Did you include
40.
the part about them being desperate?
No, I didn't say that. And I said, in all respect, I'm like, I just don't, are you sure that it was me? Are you sure, because I'm so confused right now. Like, I didn't know why you pulled me over.
What? There's a black box here in my car. Let's go to the black box. Let's pull the black box and see.
So you know what he said? He said, well, why don't you step outside the car, sir? And I'll just... Well, it kind of scared me a little bit because I thought he's like, I'm just going to show you on the thing. So I get out. He takes me over to his car and he says, just look at this screen in there. Yeah. And it doesn't have my license plate. Sure, it does say 56. I mean, sure. The number 56 is there.
Oh, well, there you go. That's good enough for a cop.
But what I'm saying is, could you have accidentally pointed it at the wrong vehicle or something, right?
Yes.
I'm like, well, I see the 56, but I don't. Anyway, and I was trying to be so. No.
Look at you getting sassy.
No, I didn't get sassy. I was very nice the whole time. I was like, well, I'm like, okay, I'm like, I just don't, because I really don't feel like I was speeding. So as we're walking back to the car,
yes,
I say, well, just in case, can I contest this? Because I really don't feel like I was speeding. I said, yes. And again, I said it very nice. I said, but is it? And then I felt so bad because he goes, well, you can't because I have it on the radar gun and that's like there, you can, but he's like, there's no, like, it clearly states that you were going 56 right here. So like, he's like,
if you had a dash cam that was showing your speed, you could pull the footage.
He's like, but I'm only giving you a warning. So you don't, and so I went through that whole thing of like getting out, going and check. He could have just said, oh, no big deal. I'm just giving you a warning anyway, just have a nice night. But we went through the whole spiel of like getting out of the car. I thought he was going to like, cuff me and throw me in the back seat or something. And then I swear I was not speeding. I swear.
You swear it. I have heard you swear it, Adam. I believe you. Adam, believe you.
3, 2, 1. Contact is the secret, is the moment. When everything happens, contact is the answer, is the reason that everything happens. Contact. Let's make contact.
Excellent. It is the contact segment of the show. This is the segment of the show where we read your emails, play your voicemails. Adam, do we have any emails this week?
I feel like there was something that I thought we should mention.
Okay.
Scotty Little Aussie Battler said something about joining Strava. Have you seen him on Strava?
I have not. No. And if you can find me on Strava, if you want to follow my running training regiment there, you can find me on Strava. Just search for Daniel Brewer. And I have an open account there. You can follow me. Or if you want, you can join the Strava group called Pride 48 Runners. And Taylor's in there. My partner Zach is in there. I think Moose P is in there. So if you want to, you can always join that group as well. It's free.
Also,
yes, on Strava, Strava.
So anyway, he was just basically saying he couldn't find you, so maybe he'll have to look again. But
make sure that, because he's Australian, maybe you have to like specify that they're in the US. Like maybe there's a section there when you're searching. They're searching for all the Daniel Brewers in Australia.
Maybe it's geographically locked. Maybe you can't share with people in a different country. Some countries have rules that like your servers have to be in that country and like all this kind of stuff. Anyway, Mike in Austin messaged to say he wanted to join Level 13, which I sent him the info.
Well, hello and welcome to Level 13. I think we just had someone new show up in the Discord. Maybe that was him.
But he also said, longtime listener, first time emailer, I always enjoy listening to your podcast. Thank you very much for all that you do.
Aw, well, that was super sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if that was you that just joined the Level 13 Discord and I waved at you, well, then all the better. If not, then hello, person I waved at. Anyway.
One other thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
We also have been asked to interview a jazz artist, which I did not respond to.
Well,
so
there's only one jazz artist that I will interview, and that is the incomparable
Mel Torme.
Yes, the incomparable Velvet Fog himself, Mel Torme. Oh, wait, I'm being told by our executive producer that he's actually dead. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, then no Velvet Fog for us. We do have some voicemails. I do want to acknowledge Archer, who's in the chat room. Hello, Archer. I saw your comment. I made a little smiley face. I don't know if you were watching on video, but I was literally like distracted for like a full 3 minutes trying to find the fucking smiley face emoji just so I could laugh at your comment. Anyway, let's go to our first voicemail tonight, shall we, Adam? Oh, it's 2 seconds long. What is this?
Lance Reddit, dead, Bacon, Woodhaven.
That,
Who?
Adam,
Who?
might be the most concise celebrity death call that we've ever had. Ever.
Who died? Who?
Kathy, shh, Adam, let's listen. Let's listen to the artistry now. Let's listen.
Lance Reddit, dead, Bacon, Woodhaven.
Who?
Blanche
Lance Reddit, dead, Bacon, Woodhaven.
Reddit?
I have no idea.
I'm hearing Blanche Reddit. Are you hearing? What are you hearing?
Blah,
No,
blah,
I'll-
blah.
I'll play it here. I'll play again.
Lance Reddit, dead, Bacon, Woodhaven.
I have no guesses.
All right,
I
well-
don't know.
If we don't know, then
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't understand it.
maybe someone else would call the same celebrity and we'll go, oh, that's what they meant.
Maybe.
Let's see what this is.
I'm listening to Geeky Gay episode 1096, and
Yes.
Adam just said he had to utilize the facilities, except he didn't say that. He said what he says. And I hate, hate is such a strong word.
What did you say?
I don't like when people say I have to,
Poop?
letter in the alphabet.
P?
Pee?
P? Or T?
I had to pee?
I would say I need to use the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to use the facilities.
Yeah.
Is there a restroom around or
Right.
whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, when people say it, it's almost like I get like a visual that I don't really need or whatever. So anyway, but that's not what I'm calling about. What I'm calling about
Okay.
is
Yes.
my last name.
Yes.
And so my grandparents are,
Hold on. She's explaining to you, Adam, about her last name because you talked about Native Americans having a weird naming convention. And so
I don't believe I
she's-
said weird. Unique.
I'm paraphrasing.
Unique.
I'm paraphrasing, of course.
French Canadian and members of the Chippewa
Indian
band of
tribe.
Indians.
Yes.
But anyway, so I'm not much of an Indian because my grandpa on my dad's side is not Native American.
Okay.
And so there's a couple other people who are not Native American. But anyway, nonetheless, my last name starts with La, as in like La something. And so, no, I didn't get one of those cool names like, runs with feathers or drives a stake or
Drives
Red
a
Eagle
stake?
or Broken Wing or anything like that.
Take
So,
these broken wings and learn to fly.
And Adam,
she laughing
some of
at
your
my song?
names were funny,
Yes.
but kind of racist too. So
My
anyway,
names
I
were
guess- but I'm not
racist?
like big on. Okay, so
She said kinda. They were just
not saying
kinda
you're
racist,
or
Adam.
whatever, but
Yeah, they were
it
just
was kinda
kinda.
like, yeah, they were.
They were just
they
a
were
little
over
bit.
the head.
Just a
I
little
was
bit.
like-
Just a little bit.
Anyway,
Dances with
all right,
Wolves or
nonetheless, Bacon Bagel Woodhaven.
look, that's
Throws-
fine. You can say,
I
and
mean,
I
the
believe
dances,
I believe
Dances with Wolves was fine. Feather over Dots not.
I didn't say dot feather, did I? Also, in the chat room, by the way, Kathy Marshall, which I believe is correct, says that Kathy Bacon said Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick.
And I have looked him up and I do recognize him. So we can go ahead and give it to her. It's not her fault that she was not.
I appreciate the 2-second phone call. That was impressive. She just needed to work on her diction. Is there some kind of weird pause there in the video?
Maybe she needed to pee when she called. And so it affected.
Adam, I feel that we should just talk about it like the English do and just call it taking a piss. It's just like,
Sure.
yeah.
Well, when you take the piss, that's a different thing. That's when you're
That's true.
joking with
Don't
someone.
they call, I gotta
or-
go take a slash or something like that. Anyway, here we go, Adam. Our next phone call. Oh, dear God.
Hello, Daniel.
Hi.
Hello, Adam.
Hi.
Scotty,
Hello.
Aussie Battler. Adam, you are dead to me.
Oh.
I've sent you so many voicemails that you've not played on your own little show, but
The
I guess
award-winning
maybe
The
saving
Geeky
them
Gay,
up
yeah.
for a rainy day.
I don't think I have any.
Anyway, Daniel, I've
Yes,
just been
Scotty.
to Vietnam and Cambodia.
Yeah.
met my honey bunch Ismail.
Oh, that's right.
and
You were going.
holidayed
You
with
were
him.
Yes, you're going to go
And
meet
oh
him
my
for the
gosh,
first. Yes.
in the photos, and when I saw myself
Yeah.
in the giant mirrors in the hotels, I'm such a fat porker. So Daniel, should
Yes.
I go keto?
Oh
The
God.
only thing that
I mean,
puts me off
well, if it puts you off, then no.
is breakfast. How do you do breakfast on keto? Because
Why?
you can't
What?
eat any sugar, right?
Right?
You can't eat any carbs.
Yeah. Well,
So
you eat very limited
How can
carbs.
I have my crunchy nut cornflakes and milk for breakfast?
They make keto cereal, believe it or not.
And yeah, so breakfast, like I can't cook bacon and eggs every day of my life.
No,
You
but
know,
they
I've
have
got,
they have
like,
cereal that's made of almond
things to
flour.
do, like
It's
get to work.
Yeah.
So that's my
Yogurt. You can have
main
yogurt.
issue, and I'd really appreciate you
Uh-huh.
telling me more about your keto lifestyle because
It's
No.
not a
I
it's
need
not
to
a
lose weight.
lifestyle.
I'm such a fat porker.
lifestyle.
89 kilograms.
What is that in real? What is that in real numbers?
Scotty, get a book.
Woodhaven.
Take a look. It's in a book, Reading Rainbow. We don't need to hear about the keto lifestyle.
Oh, there is no keto lifestyle. My partner and I do dirty keto. We've done it for
Yeah, you do.
a year. Yeah, I mean, where we don't measure things. We just we severely cut back on the amount of carbs that we eat. We try to get most of our calories from either fat or protein, and more fat than protein. So that's what we do, and we do that 6 days a week. And on the 7th day, we cheat. So tomorrow, Saturday, is a cheat day, and we do that every week. We cheat on a Saturday every week, and that's where when we were losing the weight initially, we didn't have the cheat day. Once we got to the weight we wanted to be, then we added in the cheat day.
No, I will say we were looking, you posted an old photo of yourself, or Mark found an old photo of you guys at Disney. And Mark said, "Oh my gosh, they're so much thinner than that." I'm not that he was calling you fat, but I mean, he was just saying, "Wow."
No.
you know,
I was hoping to hear that
they have
from
been-
Auntie. I was hoping to
and
hear that from Auntie Scott, and
it has
he was
definitely worked
he
for
was
you
just
guys.
like, get out of my kitchen, get out of my kitchen.
I've kind of just given up. I'm just kind of like, well, you know what? I'm going to be 45. It's just, it's creeping up on me. But I'm so glad that it has worked
Adam,
for you guys.
I've tried to offer you advice because
I
I've been
know.
there. I've made the journey from 45 to 55. I'm now 56. So I've made that journey. Adam. I could give you some good shortcuts.
No, I know. And I know keto works. I just don't like anything that limits me so much.
If that doesn't look, Larkin is joined in the chat room. Hello, Larkin. I haven't heard from Larkin in like a decade. Anyway, he came like the very first Pride 48. That was 2009.
I remember him crying in a bed, I believe.
Crying in a bed.
Yeah, I feel like there was a tearful moment in a bed. That is
a
what I
very
recall.
different. That is a very different memory than what I have. I don't have a memory of that. All right, so we're going on to our next phone call here, Adam.
Yes.
All right. If you want advice for a shortcut between 45 and 55,
You mean how to get to 55 sooner?
no, like how to be happier at 55. Like things if I had done things like 10 years ago, I would have set myself up to for things to be different today.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Happy birthday to
Oh.
you. Happy to you.
Oh God, it broke
Happy
up.
birthday, Daniel Brewer.
Yes, that's me.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, Gary.
Hey, Daniel, I know
Hi.
that this
Yes.
is going to not be played on your birthday,
It's gonna be right after.
but anyway, you like to be singing for you, so I thought
do.
I'd just
I do.
call and do that, and you can play it on your little show this week.
I did.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you, Gary. Gary's in the chat room right now. Hello, Gary. Thank you so much for the happy birthday. I do love being acknowledged on my birthday. That is like one of my favorite things. I know that you, Adam, as my best friend, texted me late in the day, but still on the day.
Yeah, I had a really busy day at work. It counts.
It counted.
I got
it
it
counted.
on the birthday.
It was still on the day. You weren't like my brother. My brother called me at 12:02 a.m. on my birthday. But I do that to him too. So I was expecting his call. But yeah, it was like, I had a great birthday. You know what? On my birthday, everyone who wished me a happy birthday was someone that I dearly love. And thank you so much. And I was saying in the pre-show, you know what? Oh, fuck. I forgot to hit That's right. We don't record the pre-show anyway. But and I was saying in the pre-show, it's like, this birthday, 56, is like meh. It's like the gruel of birthdays. It's like there's nothing special about 56. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't even make a case for it. You're just like, yeah, it's 56. All right, let's go to our next one here, shall we? Hello.
I have been checking MSN for dead celebrities for the last couple weeks,
That's your problem
and
right there,
I
yeah.
have come to the conclusion that there can't be a. Oh, what was I going to say? What's the word? I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so
Yeah.
since Chris and Dennis quit calling in,
Yes.
there's been very few deaths.
Oh.
Which leads me to conclude they must have been killing the people.
They must have been killing. So
maybe
you,
they're in prison.
You think that Dennis and Chris were responsible for all the deaths that they called in?
You know, you don't get very many phone calls if you're in prison, so maybe that's why they stopped calling.
And Johnny Law caught up with them. That's what you're saying there. That's it. Did she end that call with Woodhaven?
I don't know. Was that the end of the call?
Yes.
I don't know.
Did you think she
know.
had like cliff note, like an additional as like a footnote to my call?
You never know with her.
Oh my God, maybe Chris and Dennis murdered her. Lamont Cranston in the chat room says no Woodhaven. Maybe she was murdered before she could say Woodhaven.
Could be. Could be.
People that have never heard this show before are going to be like, what the fuck are they talking about? It's fine. It's fine. You just go back and listen to some old shit. You'll get there. You'll get
Oh my
there.
gosh, I forgot to
guess
close
what?
my call off. It's kind of like Daniel's rubbing off on me.
Oh
He's
my
forgetting
God.
To,
she's in my
shut down
brain.
The content segment, and I forgot to close out my call. So Bacon Woodhaven.
Wow. She's like
Look
in
at
my
that.
brain, Adam. She's like, she knew I was going to rant on that.
She didn't want us to think she was murdered by Chris and Dennis, so she had to call back. You know?
She knew that I was going to go on some stupid rant about that. And then she calls and it's, that was genius, Adam. That was just genius.
3, 2, 1. Contact.
Where are we at on the old list here? Oh, we are kind of going long, and I don't know if I want to do that. You know what? Screw it, Adam. It doesn't matter. You know, a podcast has no time frame, Adam. A podcast
It really
time
doesn't.
frame
But
is whatever we decide that the time frame of the
we
podcast
also missed
is.
a week last week, right?
Yeah, we're catching up. We're catching up. As you know, I've been talking about this podcast, this newer podcast that I've been listening to, everything from top to bottom.
Yes, the one where you attempted not to correct their audio or tell them that you were better than them in the first email.
Yes,
Is that, okay.
yes, that one. And since then, you know, I've messaged them on TikTok and have exchanged a couple of politenesses with them. Anyway, I was listening this morning when I was out walking. I was listening to their show, and this, Adam, this is the most confusing. How long is this? This is the most confusing 2 minutes and 18 seconds of audio ever. Ever. Adam.
But do they have chemistry? Because
They
I mean,
do.
that's all
They do. And
well,
it's so. And I'm going to play it. And but here's the thing. I've cleaned this up.
Oh
I've
good.
run-
Oh good, because I'm certain it wouldn't. Nothing can be good until Daniel Brewer touches it. We've all learned.
The number of filters I ran through. I took out plosives. I took out the mouth noises. I took out breaths. This is pristine, Adam. This is pristine.
Okay. Okay. Great.
But it's all the more important because this could be us 15 years ago. Like this could have been us 15, maybe even 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Yeah, when we were in our 20s. This could have been us. But there, I have to set this up. This is like a clip on Late Night. I have to set this up because it came out at a very larger set of this podcast. By the way, Everything from Top to Bottom is the name of their podcast. I think you can find them on Instagram and TikTok. Everything Top to Bottom Pod is their Anyway, here's the thing, Adam. Let me set this up. They're talking about taking selfies, nude selfies. They're talking about taking nude selfies.
Yeah, that would have been 20 years ago.
That is what this conversation. That is what this conversation is about. And here we go. You ready? Here we go.
I'm ready.
My claim to fame one is the one of me holding an object, which always seems to get laughs because people think I'm holding like an apple or a household object.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Like when you're just like holding it like next to your penis?
No. I'm using my penis as a holder to hold on to something.
So you're like just balancing an apple onto your penis?
No, it's a towel, but that is usually a good selling point for people.
Why is he balancing a towel on his penis? Well, what is that about?
Oh, let's listen on and find out.
So why do people think it's an apple?
No, when I tell people I'm holding something, they don't think like, oh, it's a towel. They think it's like, oh, are you holding like an apple or what are you holding?
What? I'm so confused.
What are you confused about?
So you take a picture in a mirror.
Yeah.
Slightly foggy. You have a towel on your penis.
Yeah.
And then the caption is, what am I holding?
No, but
people respond, an apple?
No, when people ask like with nudes and stuff, like what like to do? I always say like, oh, I like to hold stuff, like, and people think that I'm like holding something with it.
What?
Yeah. But
you like to hold stuff. That's what you tell people you like to do when they ask you what you like to do.
Yeah, I think those are fun images to send, fun nudes. It's different.
I like to hold stuff. I've never said that. Is that like sexy? No, I understand what you're saying about the thing. I just don't really understand like. I am so confused why people are saying why apples wherever.
I give up. They should just do our show for us. They're 5 times. He likes to hold stuff. What?
Yeah, it's very sexy, Adam. He likes to hold stuff.
Is he? I want to know. Like, is he telling people that he likes to hold things with his?
There's
with
more
his
to this
dick?
conversation. You would have to listen to it on their
Wow,
on their show.
You've sold me. I need to. I need to know.
Yeah,
I need to know.
All right, let's go and do this. News game. It's the news game. It's the news game. What questions will he ask? It is the Mix Minus News Game. This is a segment of the show where Adam will read me 5 questions from the New York Times News Quiz. And I, using only my head, brain, and mouth words, will answer those questions. These are all multiple choice. I will try to answer it without consulting the choices, but I am always free to ask what the choices are. I still have tears in my eyes from holding things with my penis. Anyway, Adam, what is our first question on the old news? Oh, by the way, did I mention the scoring? Yeah, there'll be 5 questions. I can get up to 5 points. After the 5 questions from the news quiz, we will do a bonus round where Adam will read as many questions as he can from a Trivial Pursuit card in 60 seconds. So, Adam, what is our first question on the old news quiz this evening?
Okay, our first question. Let me just get over to my sound effects board so I can, let's see. Okay, we're good. Okay, first question. A Manhattan grand jury voted to indict Donald Trump for his role in paying hush money to a porn star.
I'm so indicted.
To bury a scandal before the 2016 election.
Yes.
Who is the prosecution's star witness?
Oh, his lawyer, Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is the star witness.
That is correct. You know, haven't they called him Teflon Don before?
They have.
I feel like none of this is going to stick. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I have no hope that this will. We're going to get our hopes up, and it's just going to be another one of those. Nope. They never, ever. He'll never be held accountable for any of the bullshit ever, and just accept it. And
I wonder if he was also spoiled growing up. I wonder if he's gotten away with everything he's done in his entire life.
He's the son of a billionaire. Of course he was spoiled growing up. His dad gave him the first like $10 million or something, right?
A plan by the Israeli government to overhaul the country's judiciary.
Yes.
To overhaul the country's judiciary.
Yes.
Led to mass protests and a general strike.
Yes.
What decision did Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is he still alive?
Apparently
make about the proposal on Monday? I feel like he's been around forever.
He Charlie Browned it, right? Didn't he kick it down the road? Didn't he postpone the
That is one of the options. He delayed the parliamentary vote is the first option. Do you want to?
Yes, that is what he did.
That is correct. When there is a possibility of preventing a civil war through dialogue, I, as the Prime Minister, take a time out for dialogue.
Oh, Gary in the chat room wants me to talk about Ron DeSantis being outfoxed by Disney. No, not in the news quiz, unless there is a question about it. I will, but we can talk about it in level 13 on the after show. So go ahead, Adam.
What did the FDA say this week? This is number 3, by the way. What did the FDA say?
Wait. Is this number 3 or number 4?
It is number 3.
Number 3. Okay, here we go.
Well, now you've got me second guessing myself. Let me just
there
make
was
sure.
There was the first one about
Trump and then
Michael
Netanyahu.
Cohen, and then the second one was the past. Okay, good. Question number 3.
What did the FDA say this week about Narcan, a nasal spray that that reverses opioid overdoses?
It is going to be available, like in your pharmacy, like at Walgreens and stuff. Like you can just buy it over the counter.
Yes, that it can be sold over the counter. All right.
Yes.
A storm system. This is number 4. We are now on number 4.
Is the next to final question.
A storm system last weekend scraped a 170-mile trail of destruction across 2 states.
Yes.
Killing 26 people and devastating the birthplace of Muddy Waters.
Yes.
Which states were hit by the storms?
Is Mississippi. And I don't know the other. Is Mississippi? Tell me the answers that have Mississippi in it.
The only one that has, as you say, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Is Mississippi and Alabama.
Then I will go. I know it was Mississippi. So if that's the only one that has Mississippi, then I will go with that question, I guess.
That's correct. It's Mississippi and Alabama. Tornadoes killed 13 people in and around Rolling Fork, Mississippi, the rural Mississippi Delta town known as the birthplace of the blues singer Muddy Waters.
Muddy Waters. All
right.
It's
number
the
5.
Final question.
Major League Baseball has made some major rule changes this season. Which of these are among them? Choose 3. Damn it. Okay. A timer counts down between pitches. Bunting is outlawed.
What the fuck is bunting?
I don't know.
Like the fabric that you put on the side of a building?
You know, I thought cummerbunds were out. Not that that's the same thing as bunting, but I thought cummerbunds had gone out of fashion. And I saw the red carpet for the Oscars or whatever happened recently, and apparently all the men are now wearing cummerbunds again. And the tuxes they were wearing looked like some old 70s prom tuxes or something. They were horrible. Anyway.
What does this have to do with bunting? Where's the bunting in baseball?
Cummerbund, bund, nothing.
So it's the fabric? Like
bunting is fabric, yeah. It's fabric.
Oh, okay.
The infield shift is banned. The pitcher's mound is a foot closer. And bases are larger. I have no idea what any of these. What do these words mean? What are these?
Do we have a Sports Center theme anywhere here? What is that? Let's see, YouTube. I have to get the timer up here. Adam, I have no fucking clue.
Well, you need to pick 3 things. So it's a timer countdown between pitches.
All right, I'll pick the ones that. All right, so no more fabric on the baseball field. Bunting. And I just have
not
to
a foot closer, a foot closer. Sorry. Aren't those words spelled the same though? I mean, isn't closer and closer, aren't they spelled the same?
Now everyone knows my secret. I'm using the Adam AI as my co-host on this show. All right. So, the foot pedal thing and there's one more. What was the last one? The very last one.
Bases are larger.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, no, the bases aren't larger. So it's those three, Adam.
Bases are larger is correct, but the infield shift is banned is one of them, and
you
a
don't
timer
even need to
counts
tell
down
me the
between
right answers because I really don't give a shit. It's like, oh Jesus Christ, that was. Why is it doing that? That's a Chrome thing. Anyway, Adam, it's now time to go into our bonus round. You're going to read me some questions from the old Trivial Pursuit deck from 1973. Let's put 60 seconds up on the big board.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
What northern Egyptian city was named for the Macedonian who founded it?
Macedonia?
Alexandria, who sang Things Go Better with Coke in 1969 before switching to Pepsi in the 1980s?
Michael Jackson.
Ray Charles. What African said from jail in 1985, only free men can negotiate, prisoners cannot enter into contracts?
In where? South Africa?
South Africa.
The guy. That guy.
Or Africa.
The South African guy.
I'm going to need a name.
His name, that guy, the South African. Who's that?
Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, that guy. Nelson Mandela, the South African dude.
What drupaceous fruit were Hawaiian women once forbidden by law to eat?
Pineapple.
The coconut. What radio format is sometimes dubbed cold and moldy?
AM. But
golden oldies.
Well, which is normally found on.
Whatever. That's a stretch.
Adam, you know what? Don't tell me what's the stretch. I'll tell you what's the stretch. I got 4 out of 5 questions. I got 0 on the bonus, so that gives me 4 out of 5. I think I did pretty well. It's like a high B, right? Not every week can be an A, Adam. Even and it was a stupid fucking baseball question, which matters nothing.
I'll give you a participation trophy.
All right. Well, in that case, then 4 out of 5. Each and every week, Adam, as you are well aware, I don't have my email. As you are well aware, our executive producer Cyclone sends us. I've lost the ability to talk.
That's going to be a problem.
Sends us a voluminous amount of information all about events and things that happen. Aren't events things? Or is it the same kind of thing, right? A thing is an event, like an event or a thing. No, I guess an event, a thing could be an object, right?
It could
be, yes, like a
thing could be a piece of information. It could be an event. It could be,
These are all things that happened on the day that we were recording of some other year. So in this case, things that happened on March 31st of some other year. I hope you didn't use this on your own podcast today.
I did not.
But happy Transgender Day of Visibility.
To you as well.
I celebrated the day by continuing to not use Twitter or to patronize J.K. Rowling. How about you?
I don't want to get too graphic.
Yes.
But if I were single, I think I would try it with a transgender man.
Well, that's awfully big of you, Adam.
I think I would try it out. I mean, I'm intrigued.
You're intrigued?
Yeah.
I'm sure that every man loves to hear that.
Is that not supportive?
You're so intriguing. Like if someone told you that, it's like I've never been with a bald man before. You're so intriguing.
Well, I think that's better than some words you could use. But
Happy Crayola Crayon Day. Did you use that one?
I did not use it. I actually looked to see which ones were on here and purposely did not use them.
Do you know that only 2 Crayola colors have changed their names?
No, I didn't. But don't they have like 150 million colors
yeah, they
now
do.
or something?
And only 2 of them have a Prussian blue was changed to midnight blue because of the Prussians, and flesh was changed to peach because flesh comes in different shades than pasty white.
Also, flesh is just a nasty word.
Flesh.
I don't like the word flesh.
But if you add moist to it,
moist flesh is even worse.
Moist flesh is some of the best flesh. Did you know what the most popular colors are in Crayola?
I do not, but it's probably like some sort of blue.
Blue, yes, blue.
Some sort of red.
Red, just blue and red.
Okay.
You were overthinking it. I'm just blue and red. On March 31st, 1902, Iowa amends its sodomy law to cover oral sex.
Meaning they outlawed oral sex? Or
I don't know. It just says Iowa amends its sodomy law to cover oral sex. Now, the fact that they had a sodomy law must mean that they were against it. And so they added in oral sex, saying, oh, it's not just anal sex that is sodomy. Oral sex is also sodomy.
Right now, I'm just going, it's probably not going to work. It's probably not going to work at all, but I'm just going to ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What is sodomy? Because I always get confused. If it's just sodomy typically refers to a sexual activity that involves anal intercourse.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Iowa said.
Well, there you go. There's more, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. So that's what I'm always like, is it just between 2 men? Is it between 2 people of the same sex? Is it a particular act? Yeah. But now I know it's anal sex. So there you go.
I've asked Bard, because, I have the beta for Bard, Google's chat BJ. And I asked it, I said, give me an argument as to why Adam is wrong.
Really?
There are several arguments that can be made as to why Adam was wrong to eat the forbidden fruit.
I was wrong to eat the forbidden fruit. By the way, Daniel, it's important to note that sodomy laws have historically been used to discriminate against certain individuals or groups.
Yes. Homosexuals.
Yeah.
On this day, March 31st, in Disney, 1992, Straight Talk was a movie. The soundtrack to the 1992 film of the same name starring Dolly Parton and James Wood is released on Hollywood Records. So the soundtrack to Straight Talk was released. It took me a while to read that. I'm sorry.
But how's that related to Disney? That's in the Disney section. Is it a Disney movie? Like what?
Well,
because Dolly Parton is a talk radio host in that movie. What is it? Disney?
Yeah, was it? Who was it? Well, Disney owns a lot of theaters, so I mean, they own Touchstone and Miramax. I don't know. It doesn't say.
I remember liking that movie because she was like a talk radio host or whatever. But yeah,
look, I'm sure our executive producer will get some of the interns in trouble for this. Like they will be yelled at for failing to include that piece of information.
I mean, we like Dolly Parton. We can mention her at any time. It's fine.
I love Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton's awesome. 1943, Oklahoma premiered on Broadway.
You mean like, Oklahoma?
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
Yeah.
Yes, that. And the waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain.
Yeah, that one.
Let's go to the weekly. I feel like the Weekly World News has the same headline every week. Like it's every week we do this. This is the Weekly News.
Daniel,
from March 31st.
Coming is happening in 1998.
How many times has the Second Coming happened at this point in time? The Weekly World News, March 31st, 1998. The Second Coming, 1998.
Well, the Second Coming happens for me occasionally, but it's
not as much anymore. Yeah, it's like
not as much anymore. No,
your Second Coming happened a lot more in your 20s than they did in your 40s.
It's true. Mm-hmm. It's true, but I do like to hold things while,
I don't.
You don't get the callback?
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
I was doing a callback of your callback. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Adam, the world's most exclusive restaurant serves nothing but endangered species.
Wow. I guess that restaurant is really popular among Republicans.
There's an article there, but I'm not going to read it. You know what, Adam? There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people that have birthdays on March 31st across the multiverse. We'd like to say happy birthday to some of them right now. Happy birthday, George Listing. You've turned 36. Happy birthday, Ewan McGregor. You've turned 52. Al Gore turned 75, and Christopher Walken turned 80.
And you guys don't see this, but we get the ones that are bolded are ones that he has found shirtless or nude photos of.
Yes.
So we have a basically nude photo of Christopher Walken.
Yep.
At 80 years old. Happy
birthday, Rhea Perlman. Happy birthday, Gabe Kaplan, Herb Albert, Richard Chamberlain, Shirley Jones, and William Daniels. Oh my God, there's a lot of people. This is a very popular birthday, March 31st. I'm looking up the top here. I don't recognize any of those people.
And not the 31st, but happy birthday to our very own Daniel J. Brewer.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Adam. That was so sweet of you. But to each and every one of you, from each and every one of us, happy birthday. I feel like we've gone long enough. I'm going to take this, the last topic that I had there. I'm going to put it back over on the Trello. Cause it's an evergreen. I can talk about it next week. Adam, I heard on your personal podcast, The Geeky Gay, the award-winning Geeky Gay, found at thegeekygay.com. I heard that you had to reschedule your haircut.
I did.
because of your trip to come and visit me here in Florida. And I just wanted to plead with you because you're going on a Friday. You're going on Friday, April the 7th.
Yeah, I am.
I'm going to plead with you to please take a GPS with you. Like just punch in your directions back into the GPS. Let it tell you where to go.
I have CarPlay in my car. I just wasn't using it. I will use it next week when I go.
Is it next week? Is that fast? Wow. Yeah. So next week, please, because we will be here next week, right?
Yeah. As far as I know.
And that's going to be, and then we're going to take the race weekend off. And then the weekend after that, I'm camping. So we've got, a couple of weeks off after that. Anyway, Adam, look at me trying to reach that volume level in time.
Well, it was much better that time.
Yeah, it's much better.
It was,
like we learn in running, Adam, just small improvements, improvements each and every week. Adam, we stream this show live in front of a live chat room audience every Friday night, 10 p.m. over on YouTube and on pride48.com. If you want to join the chat room, all you have to do is head to pride48.com, look for the button on their website that says join chat, which takes you to our Discord server. And then from then you can just use Discord. Anyway, if you want to send us an email, you can do so. Our email address is contact@mixminuspodcast.com. Our voicemail is 707-61-DEATH. Or you can go to our website, http://voicemail.mixminuspodcast.com and leave us a voicemail that way. Anything else to add?
No, I don't feel like at this day and age we really need the colon and HTTP and all that stuff.
But it pads out time, Adam. That's how I know that there's time for me to wrap this up.
Well, I do like to hold things.
This show is part of the Pride 48 Network. Find all the best shows under the rainbow at pride48.com.